What's up guys, macadii here, and today guys, the semi-finals of the UAL League, where I am up against Stay Musical, coach of the Sacramento Kinglers. So if you guys are excited, don't forget to leave a like down below. I would really appreciate it. We're bringing some very interesting stuff because he has a very spooky squad and a core that actually 6-0'd me last time, where he was able to basically pivot between these two mons, and I just didn't have enough to be able to break that core, and it was just a nightmare. But anyway, I can't remember if that one ended up being uploaded or not. I think it might not have been because it was like week 8 and I sort of cut off uploads up past week 5, I think, something like that. But anyway, what we're going to do is run through what he could be bringing, what we're going to be bringing to answer that, and then finally go into the battle from there. So, he has got, in terms of speed, going from fastest to slowest, M.Lopunny, Noivern, Raikou, Liepard, Darmanitan, Roserade, Cresselia, Skarmory, Sandslash, Gastrodon, and Aromatisse. So hopefully you guys can guess what the 2-mon core was, and if you guessed Cresselia and Skarmory, you are correct. That core, my team has so little for conventionally. It's such a difficult core for me to break because, for example, Q&B breaks Skarmory, but then Cress just completely hardwalls it. Staraptor puts a lot of pressure on, well, a tiny bit of pressure on Cress, but none on Skarmory. My Scolipede does tons to Cress, but nothing to Skarmory. So overall, just like, it's an utter nightmare. So I had to try and find lots of ways basically to break that core. And that's not even like thinking about M.Lopunny. I would argue the best Mega in draft format, just in my opinion. And I've got a very offensive team that I normally have to bring. So M.Lopunny is always something that's very spooky to me. So what we're going to run through is what I decided to bring to try and answer all of these like spooky things defensively and also offensively. The first one I actually want to go through is my Q&B. So Q&B, win the Q&B is a specially defensive Q&B. So it sounds really weird. Basically, this is designed to take on both Skarmory and also Cress. So I've got enough speed to, in case he wants to speed creep me with the Cress, but we should naturally outspeed it. And with 216 and 248 in special in HP and special attack, what that means is Cress's Moonblast does not break our sub unless he gets like the maximum roll, I think. So that's pretty good for us. The Ice Beam and Fusion Bolt combination allows me to basically kill Skarm from there. I need to just find out whether it's physically defensive, then I go for Ice Beam. If it's specially defensive, I go for Fusion Bolts, and both of them have a pretty good chance to KO, so that's pretty sweet for us. And finally, Toxic, so I can Toxic substall that stupid Cress. So that's kind of one of my main ways to deal with it. I've got another way to try and deal with that core, which is a sub-Carmine Cobalion. So this is designed to sub up on potentially the Skarmory, which I'm expecting to have Iron Head. And I've got the Focus Blast on there, which is really nice. Flash Cannon, which it just basically hits a lot of his team very neutrally, which is really nice for us outside. Actually, no, it does hit everything very neutrally, so that's nice. And we just go for a sub, get some Carmines up, and hopefully start getting a sweep going from there. We outspeed everything up to Liepard. We don't outspeed Raikou or Noivern or M.Lopunny, but hopefully with M.Lopunny we're behind a sub and we can hit a Focus Blast, or if we've got enough Carmines up, just hit a Flash Cannon from there. Next, we got the Staraptor, Choice Scarf Staraptor. Once Skarmory is out the way and Cress is a bit weakened, Staraptor just comes in and it just cleans up like that, which is absolutely beautiful. We've got Intimidate on there, which sounds a little bit weird, but that allows me to switch into M.Lopunny if I need to, because I don't have the best switches to M.Lopunny. And actually, with Intimidate, Staraptor eats the hit up. It's not ideal. I'm not saying it's like the best thing to do in the world, but it's still an option, and it can kind of work. We've got Double Edge and Brave Bird to hit the hardest, but I just wanted that Intimidate, as I said, to be able to switch into M.Lopunny. It helps me a bit with Darmanitan as well, if that thing's going to be a problem. We got U-Turn, because obviously Skarm is going to be coming in like 100% of the time, like he has no other real switch into this, so I can U-Turn out, go into one of my things to set up, and things like that. So it's a bit of Skarm bait early game. And then we got Endeavor on there, because I considered going for, Final Gambit, but it didn't really work last time, and it doesn't break through Sturdy, so I thought Endeavor was a better way to go. What I can basically do is, if I get myself weakened enough, I can just go into Staraptor, just spam Endeavor. Just keep going with that Endeavor until either he's basically forced to kill me from there, or, he tries to PP stall me or something like that. But what we can do is basically just put enough pressure on him where he can't switch out because something's going to lose a load of HP, and we can just basically weaken the Skarm a ton from there, or at the very least force him to roost. Next up, we got P2. another guy designed to break that core. I needed as much as I could. Once that core was out of the way, I had a much better time. I knew. So I needed a reliable way to take out the core and put a lot of pressure on his team. This is the next one with P2 with the Violite and Download. So this guy's designed to be able to take on the Skarm. I can switch into the Skarm outside of Toxic. And I've got enough speed to outspeed a normal, like, Speed Creeper Cress, basically. I can set up a sub on the Cress. I can definitely take hits. I can Toxic Stall the Cress. I can Thunderbolt and do a huge amount of damage with the download boost to Skarmory. So that's pretty nice, and recover up from there. So it's actually quite an interesting set. We outspeed a fair amount of his team with this set, and we can actually stall out a lot of his mons. So that's pretty nice for us. If we're behind a sub and he forces him out to M.Lopunny, we can get a Toxic on M.Lop. And Toxic on M.Lop is really nice, because when it fake outs, it's, you know, it's burning turns basically, and it puts it on a timer, which is always really nice. Next, we got the Scolipede with the Focus Sash, with Mega Horn, Poison Jab, Swords Dance, and Protect. So this guy is designed to, basically, after an SD, if I can get rid of Cress, I basically win from there, because I got Protect to beat M.Lopunny. At +2, I kind of beat everything, so that's pretty sweet for us. And the Focus Sash just makes my life a little bit easier. With the Calcs, I don't actually need any offensive things, so it makes sense to have Focus Sash to guarantee I can get Swords Dance up for free from there and potentially sweep, because that's his only real form priority is from his M.Lopunny. With that fake out, it could have a quick attack, but we can't. I don't think it's got enough move slots to be able to fit quick attack on there anyway. Next, we got Lol the Starmie with the Choice Scarf Analytics. This guy's designed to come in on M.Lopunny. We got the Hydro Pump Psychic combination, which hits a lot of this team very hard, which is very nice for us. We got especially the Analytic boost as well. And we got Trick on there, so if he decides to keep going into Cress, we can Trick the Cress, and that makes our lives easier. And then finally, the Rapid Spin, if we want to get rid of hazards, if he decides to start, you know, setting up, you know, Toxic Spikes with Roserade, which kind of messes up our tactics on there. I guess we still got Scolipede, but if Scolipede went down, or if even if he just Spike stacks, to be honest, it makes my life a lot easier from there. So that is the team that we got. So what we're going to do now is go into the replay, and you can see exactly what happened from there. Okay, so we are at the battle, and he brought pretty much everything I was expecting. That M.Lopunny, the Skarm Crest Core. We got potentially a Scarf Darmanitan, a bulky Roserade, which I was kind of expecting, and then finally probably some sort of offensive Noivern, because it does outspeed my entire team outside of Scolipede at +1. So I wouldn't be too surprised. It gets like Steel Wing and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see that if I had decided to bring Diancie. So, in terms of lead, as you can see, I decided to lead off with the Scolipede. This was basically bait. I just want to bait in that Skarm, if that makes sense. So, he's going to go into his Crest Elites. That's really nice for us, but I just didn't want... In the back of my mind, I was like, oh, if he T-Waves here. If he T-Waves, our plan is ruined if I switch into something, because then Skarm can do stuff and mess about with me and things like that. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to Protect, play it safe, and see what he wants to do. He just goes straight into Skarm, and it's one thing I noticed in the previous game, is he's very happy to just go into the most obvious wall and try and wall me. So I'm going to try and capitalize on that later on. So I knew the Skarm was going to come in, so now I go into Cobalion because I can put the pressure on, but he goes to Whirlwind and shows that. So that's really nice for us. We are now in with P2, and we can basically just fire off a T-Bolt here, which is fantastic. Get a tiny... Look how little it does to Cress. This is why I hate fighting Cress. But I can get the sub up because we're speedy, and we get the T-Wave, and we do not have to take that T-Wave on. So that's fantastic for us. We pop the Toxic on the Crest. Our plan is going very, very well. He crits us with the Psyshock, and we're absolutely fine. So I'm in a great position here to just keep going for that T-Bolt, getting chip damage, and basically just putting pressure on that Cresselia. We're going to go for another little cheeky sub here, as he's going to switch out into the Lopunny. So now, I spent a while here, because I was like, we've got that special attack boost. We could go for T-Bolt M.Lopunny. Chance to paralyze when it megas up, it's like, it does about 40%, and I was like, do I do that, or do I just go for residual damage with Toxic, but risk the chance of missing? You guys know my luck, but I decided to go for the Toxic here, as he goes for Frustration just to break our sub, and I get the Toxic off. So that's fantastic for us. P2 can always sub up, or it can roost up on the Skarm, recover up on the Skarm, or even, and sub up for the Crest for free. So I'm very happy for it to be at the level of HP that it's at. So now what I can do is I can go into Starmie, as he goes for Agility, and I was like, oh goodness, this is bad. This is very, very bad. So I had to think about what I should lock myself into. I was like, right, I don't expect Roserade to come in, because if I go for Psychic here and I just take out Roserade, like, Psychic's my play, because Hydro Pump does not kill this M.Lopunny. I was like, Psychic's my most obvious play. That guy takes a lot from Psychic. This guy takes a lot from Psychic, and If it's Scarf Dom, then it doesn't benefit too much from it. So I was like, overall, I think my Life Orb is the way, no, Life Orb, Hydro Pump is the way to go here. So, as you can see, he decides to Baton Pass out. Very well played on his part. Goes into Cress. Oh no, I do fire for a second. I apologize. My thoughts are wrong. But anyway, I just decided to play it safe, go for the Psychic. That was it, because if the Cress comes in, it's fine, but we hit everything else very hard. And if he Baton Passes into either Cress or Skarmory, then it doesn't really matter. Like, wow, Speedy Cress, who really cares? So that's good for us. And we have to deal with a Speedy Cress here, which is going to be a bit of a pain. I go into Kyurem, just because it's my least expendable one. I can kind of handle a T-Wave if I need to. He goes for T-Wave here, which is fine by me, but I pull up the sub. And we know from the calcs, I can take this hit. So that's very nice for us. And he's getting Toxic down here. Goes to the Moonblast, but he crits us. And that's going to be really, really painful for us, because now we're going to have to try and get another sub up after taking more damage as well. So we're going to take a Moonblast, we're going to get the special attack drop, and we're going to have to sub against. That's really, really bad for us. We've lost so much HP, considering we could have been like even higher because our sub doesn't break. It just puts me in a terrible position, because now our HP is so much lower than it could have been. Out comes Diffusion. I kind of have to sack this off now. I knew it was Infiltrator, but I just didn't have a switch to a Draco at that point, and with it being paralyzed and weakened, I was like, there's nothing I can really set up a sub on. If the Skarmory's most likely got Iron Head, this guy's going to blow me back, this guy's going to blow me back, M.Lopunny's going to blow me back. Kyurem, you kind of done your job. You've killed the Cress, so that's fine by me. But now I can go into P2, and I can basically do what I want to do. I just go for a cover here, play it safe. I could have subbed up, but I was like, if he crits me, then I'm in trouble, or does anything like that. Maybe not, or if that's it. If he goes for Hurricane or even another Draco, there's a chance he does more than 25%, so I didn't want to risk it. So I just go into Starmie here. I know I can take a HDK. He's kind of forced to at this point, and he's getting that toxic damage done, and he's already done as much as a T-Wilt would have done, so that makes me very happy. I go for the Hydro Pump Predicting Switch. He does a really, really great play here and goes out into Roserade, and I'm like, I don't know what this guy's going to do. So I go into my Porygon as he pulls up a sub, and I was like, oh god. We actually don't have too much to take this on, because with T-Volt plus Toxic, this probably wasn't the best switch for me to make. He goes to the Energy Ball here, and that makes me a bit happier, because I was like, okay. That makes my life slightly easier, because what that means is that he doesn't have Giga Drain, so he's not going to be getting HP back that way. I think he's going to have Sludge Bomb and probably HP Fire or something like that. Otherwise, my Scolipede just completely beats him. So does my Cobalion as well. So I'm expecting those 3 moves plus sub. So that's very, very nice for us. And he doesn't have any recovery. So he might be like E-Belt or something like that. So as long as I keep my P2 round, I can actually potentially stall this round unless I get special defense drop. So he does get the special defense drop previously, but I'm able to get up a good amount of HP. And I basically have to sack something off here. So I go for Cobalion, deciding it's my best play. And I can basically break the sub from here. And yeah, sack off Cobalion, which is a bit of a shame, but Cobalion kind of didn't have a huge amount of a roll left to do. I can now go into my Staraptor. I knew a U-turn would guarantee kill, so he switches out into Skarm, which we wanted, and now we can go back into P2 and we can get that sub up. Shoutouts to Shardy as well. I forgot to say shoutouts to Shardy for this set suggestion, because it was absolutely beautiful. I just go for the T-Volt because I knew he's going to be switching out here. And I didn't want him to try and whirlwind me. As now my prep comes into play, because now I can go take that HGK from the Staraptor. I go for U-turn, but he lives on 1, like 0.3%, and I was like, oh no, I've got to sack something here. From my calcs, it looked like it killed, but he must have been max HP with Lopunny or something like that, or defense investment. So I have to go into my Scolipede. It was between Scolipede and Staraptor at this point, and I was like, Scolipede actually doesn't do as well as Staraptor does late game. So I was like, we're going to go for that. Let him go down here and basically see what he wants to do. He goes into Skarm. That's fine by me. I can go back into my Porygon. As he just whirlwinds me, I'm happy with this. Out into Starmie. I just keep going into Porygon because I have a fairly good matchup against most things. Out comes the Roserade. And now it's the Sub Wars. The Sub Wars begin. So I get the sub up, he gets the sub up, he goes to Energy Ball, and it does I do discover he breaks my sub. So he is max offensive Roserade. So he's just going for the Energy Ball. You can see it's doing a fair amount of damage, but I'm just going to be fat and stally like P2 is, and get some really nice HP back. And now we've broken his sub, and there's not a huge amount he can really do, because he can't sub up, he can't recover up, and we just need to basically get to a good amount of HP like we are here, and then just go for that T-Bolt and take him out. So that's really, really nice for us, and we're in a really strong position here. We've got a decent amount of HP on our P2. At this point here, the Darm comes out, and I'm like, I don't know if this guy is going to be Life Orb, Choice Band, or Choice Scarf. My gut says Choice Scarf. It's iffy whether we're going to live. I need to save P2, so I decide to sack off Will here, because that allows me to get the Intimidate, and then I'm guaranteed to live a hit with the P2. So I go into P2 here, just, you know, play it safe, get the recover up if I need to. He does 50%, so he's Choice Banded. Now that is spooky. Choice Banded Darmanitan is a very, very spooky thing. Out comes Aerosmith. I'm just going to go for the T-Bolt here. Literally no reason not to, as I get a good amount of damage on the Darmanitan. And 80%, it does so much damage. As we can get the recover up, and we're back up at a good amount of HP. Noivern comes back out. I'm just going to sack off Scolipede to a Hurricane. And between the two, I basically win the game with Starmie, because I can Trick here if he decides to stay in with this guy. And I could Choice Scarf him into a Draco or something like that, which is his best bet. Or he goes, or a Hurricane or something like that. Because it's weaker, I can then take it on with P2, I can recover up and all of that good stuff. If he decides to switch out into Skarmory, he's tricked the Skarmory, so he's in trouble there, and he can't take on the P2, so I'm good to go. So basically, regardless of the outcome, Trick was definitely the best play to go here. So go for the Trick, get the Choice Scarf onto him, and we get the Life Orb, and we go down to a Draco, so that's even better for us, because now what we can do, we can go into P2, and I was like, please don't crit. Please don't crit. Okay, he does switch out. As we go full of sub here, which is really nice. I'm going to go for a cover. He can't whirlwind me anymore. And basically that is going to be game. So this P2 set was absolutely beautiful, and shout out, as I said, to Shardy for suggesting this set. I've not been a fan of P2 this entire like league season, and not that I've regretted picking it up, I've just never really used it to its full amount, and now that I see it actually being used, it is absolutely beautiful. I was dumb there and went for a sub because I forgot about Infiltrator. I was too excited about the prospect that I think I'd won. But anyway, so we are going to be able to pull through here and get a win. But oh my goodness, it was an absolutely insane match. It was so toe to toe. It was 52 turns. So it was a long, really long match. But it was so intense, like the back and forth between like M.Lopunny putting pressure on, me putting pressure on with all of my Pokemon with sub, you know, breaking the core, and then having to try and like handle his offense at the end, because he went from very defensive at the start to very offensive at the end with like the banded Darmanitan, the sub Roserade, and the M.Lopunny. That yeah, it was just a really, really good battle. Best battle I've played in a very long time. So anyway, thank you Stay Musical for an absolutely fantastic battle, and I hope you guys did enjoy it as well. So we're going to be going forward to the finals, which is absolutely fantastic. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, and I will see you guys at the next one. Macadii out.